Hey Jordan, I noticed you seemed really quiet and distant during dinner tonight. You weren't talking much or reacting to what anyone was saying. I wasn't sure if you were upset with me about something or I said earlier, or were you just having a bad day. Can you help me understand what was going on with you?
Honestly, I had a super stressful day at work. My boss piled on some last minute projects and I didn't even get a lunch break. I didn't mean to seem off.
Thanks for letting me know. I wasn't sure, but I'm glad it wasn't something I did. Do you want to talk about the work stuff now, or would you prefer time to unwind first? The topic is phones in the classroom. Jordan, I've been thinking about this whole issue with phones in classrooms, and I want to try the pillow method to understand it better. I really think phones should be banned in classrooms. They distract students, encourage multitasking that leads to poor focus, and can be used to cheat. It's hard for teachers to manage and for students to stay encouraged.
That's fair, but let's look at the flip side. Phones can also be valuable tools. They give students access to calculators, research tools, notes, and even apps that help with learning or managing anxiety. For some, they're essential, not optional.
Right, and I hadn't fully considered that. I guess both of us have a point. Phones can hurt or help depending on how they're used. The issue isn't so black and white. It depends on boundaries, responsibility, and the classroom environment.
Exactly, and maybe it's less about banning and more about creating clear, flexible rules.
Honestly, when I step back, maybe this isn't even the most urgent educational issue. Things like equitable access to learning, mental health, and teacher support seem way more impactful. So, in the end, there's truth to every viewpoint. Maybe a compromise, like designated phone times or using apps that block distractions, could respect both sides.
That sounds like a solid middle ground. I completely bombed that job interview. I just froze when they asked me about conflict resolution.
Wow, that sounds rough. What happened exactly?
They asked me how I handled tough work situations in the past, and my mind went blank. I couldn't think of any examples.
So, were you caught off guard and couldn't recall a situation under pressure?
Exactly. I know I've handled issues before, but I just panicked.
That's totally understandable. Interviews can be nerve wracking, and you've had a lot going on lately.
Yeah, but I still feel like I blew it.
What part of the interview do you think you actually did well in?
I think I nailed the part about teamwork.
Sounds like the pressure just threw you off for a moment. Maybe practicing those situational questions could be more help. You've got the experience, you just need to prep the stories.
Hey, I wanted to bring something up. The report you sent back last week was missing the final summary selection, and it made things a bit harder for the team.
Oh no, I didn't realize that. Which part was missing exactly?
The client summary. Without it, we had to pause the review process.
You're right, I remember now. I saved it in a separate file and forgot to combine it. That's on me.
It's not a huge deal, but it did delay the handoff.
What do you think I could do to make sure this doesn't happen again?
Maybe just run the final version by someone before submitting.
So it sounds like you like the second set of eyes on major documents. That makes sense. I'll start doing that. Thanks for the feedback. The scenario is negotiating a schedule change. Jordan, I've been feeling super drained doing all the morning shifts lately. Do you have a time now to talk about maybe reworking the schedule a bit? When I have multiple early shifts in a row, I feel physically exhausted and mentally foggy by midweek because I'm not getting enough rest and it's affecting how I perform. I'd like to change up the schedule so I can be more alert and effective. But I know you like morning shifts too because they work with your schedule for picking up your sister.
Yeah, I usually need to be free by 3 p.m.
So you need to keep some mornings free for family? What if we alternate mornings or switch every other week? That way we both share the load and still meet our needs. Will alternating every week work for you?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's try it.
Great. Let's try it next week and check in midweek to see how it's going.